I was saved at a Baptist youth camp when I was 13 years old. I asked God to be the savior of my life and the leader of my life. And then I went back to living a very secular life. My son Ryan was born when I was 20. I wasn't even 21 yet. My son's mother and I split. She decided she wanted to be with someone else. And I got a phone call that said, if you want to see Ryan, you need to get here tomorrow morning before 9 o'clock. And I was young. I didn't know my rights. I didn't know where she went. I was drinking heavily. I just couldn't deal with not being able to see my son, and I was living his life through photographs and phone calls. My identity was always being a father, and it was taken from me. 7-8 months go by. I literally called neighbors and friends and said, "Hey, anything in the house you want? I need the cash. I'm going south. I'm going to go find my son." At that point in my life, I was using marijuana pretty heavily, and I was drinking heavily. I was doing everything I could to escape what life had become. But so at the Alabama state border, I threw paraphernalia and everything out the window and said, it was done. Immediately started looking for a job. That was the first thing I did. I lived out of my van for a while. It was difficult, but I got to start getting my son on the weekends because his mom only lived a few miles away. Every time his mom needed a break, I got to get my son. And when he had left, he was, just this little thing barely walking around, big blonde curls. And when I got there, he had short hair. He'd come running around the back of the van, and he was, "Daddy!" And so from there, I did whatever it took to, get him back in my life and do what I needed to do. Fast forward 2 or 3 years, I met somebody else. The girl I was with introduced me to cocaine, and as well as many other drugs. But I hit rock bottom. I got to a point where I was losing everything. I was going to lose my job. I was going to lose my apartment I was in. So I put myself into rehab. I put myself into an inpatient facility. To this day, I still make sure that I fight that good fight every day. It's very easy to use a substance to run away from the realities of life. And that's what I was doing, was escaping. From there, I ended that relationship with that woman. I moved to Endicott. I got my son every weekend, and as often as possible. And I started drinking again, not long after getting into Endicott. And it didn't take very long before it became a problem again in my life. There were times I was missing time with my son, and because I was hungover. One of those days, my dad texted me early in the morning. It was a Sunday morning, and it was on his way to church. And he said, "You're going to go to church with me today." And I kind of just tried to find an excuse because I didn't want to go. I was hungover. I didn't want to be embarrassed about smelling like alcohol, and didn't want to deal with all that. My dad just cut right to it. He said, "Listen, are you going to go to church with me or not?" And I said, "Sure." And he came and picked me up. And I went to Bridgewater for the first time, and it was the first church I'd been to in probably 10 years. It was the weirdest experience. I walked in the door, and people were like, "Oh, hi, how are you? Good to see you." And I'm like, this is not like any stuffy, typical Baptist church you go to, right? It really touched a part of me that hadn't been active in a long time. They played Reckless Love, man, and it just broke me. I mean, looking at it from where I'm at now and being able to say, like, when I was that person, God still loved me. Well, I deserved it the least. Yeah. Before I knew it, there was people asking me to go to small group, and I downloaded the YouVersion app, and it was ravenous. I read everything I could. I went full force, head on. I was baptized. I've been going to Bridgewater now for 6 or 7 years. I quit drinking alcohol a little over a year ago. I haven't had any alcohol since. I'm not the person I used to be, right? I'm ashamed of a lot of the things that I've done, even though I've been forgiven for them. But my number one goal right now is to just lead my family the best that I can in a manner that would please God, that would bring him glory. My son sent me a video yesterday. It said, sum up your father in one word. And I didn't get the video. I got a text message just before that said noble. And I was like, what? And so I opened my phone and then I watched the video, and noble. What a great way to be remembered. So it's my goal to live up to that Superman ideals he has in me in his head. It's my goal to make sure that when it's my turn, that it doesn't push him from God, that it pulls him to him. Because it's a life worth living. It's difficult, but it's a life worth living. And it's the only thing you can lean on, all right? When you're at your worst, you can lean on God. Always. My name is Daniel Beismer, and I'm here to make more and better disciples of Jesus Christ.